it's Delhi, so there's bound to be some pollution in our predictions as well. We couldn't see the crystal ball clearly, which is why all of us have fallen short of our predictions. I'm sure Delhi has also fallen short of what their projection was for their total. They've ended up at 147, not something they would have wanted after choosing to bat when winning the toss. That's what Shreyas Iyer did. Unfortunately, they just could not get going, and 147 for 6, just losing a lot of wickets at regular intervals. So really not a total that they probably will be happy with, but they've got it on the board. I'm Gaurav Kapoor. This is MPL Presents Cricket Buzz Live. I have Joy Bhattacharya and Ajay Jadeja here with me. Safe to say, they are not going to be happy with this.
Oh, certainly not. And especially because once they won the toss and they got a good start. You know, you haven't lost a wicket. You lost 1 wicket in the first 10, 12 overs.
Yeah.
So that means you've had a good start. So I think they didn't push hard enough at the start. And by start, I mean, over 7 to 11, 12. Because that's also part of the game. There's no rule that you only got to slog or hit or try and push the game at the end of the innings. So I think what they really lost out was there. And then they had too many wickets in hand and then every guy's trying to hit. And this is not one of those wickets. Yeah. This is one of those wickets where you have to be in there for a while to start moving on.
And that's what happened. They were 65 for 1 at the halfway mark, and from there to 147 for 6. Joy, that's the thing there, right?
But think about it. 15.1 overs, you're averaging 8. You're 120 for 2. That's the point at which Rishabh Pant gets out. And from there is the collapse. From there to the last 5 overs is where at 8 and over, they would have thought, they would have fancied their chances to push it to 9 and over. 180 would have looked likely to them. Rishabh Pant is there, Colin Ingram is in the hutch, in the dugout. So there's a lot going there, and then suddenly it all falls apart. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, because this is a very interesting thing, role play. So obviously Shikhar Dhawan has been told out there that you are the guy who's going to play out the innings.
Yeah.
And you can see him literally checking himself, not taking the chances. Now what happens is, now he's the only set batsman. An unset batsman is coming on the other side and trying to hit and getting out. So do these role plays work that, designated?
Look, I've never been a big fan of role plays, and especially if you're playing against a side which has a smart captain on the other end. Because if you have got a role play, you have a strategy, the captain on the other side is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. What that does is it allows him to play against you, knowing that, X is going to hit and Y is not going to hit at this over. Yeah. So he plays around with that. And how can you actually, give roles? One is this role, and second, the other thing that I keep hearing that, you have a license to hit. Listen, once you've been picked in a side, you've got a license to play. Now, why does Rishabh Pant play in a certain way? Because he's capable of doing it. If you give license to somebody who's not got the ability to hit, then what you're doing is wrong. Similarly, in this case, just to make his point more clear, is that if you give Shikhar Dhawan a role to defend and play through the innings, which is not his natural game.
Yeah.
So I've always believed that the natural game is the way to play for each individual, because that's what you've done all your life. Just because you're playing in a different team, if you have to adjust at times, but you just can't say, okay, you don't get out. But which batsman in the world goes in to get out? Even when you have to hit, you're not supposed to get out, and even when you are supposed to defend, you're not supposed to get out. But when you are in the game that we exist and play in this day, in the day of execution,
that's a taboo word.
It's a taboo word.
I have to explain.
100 rupees in the jar. You can use it. You put 100 rupees in the jar. That's the fine.
My vocabulary is very limited. I will have to be excused from these.
Sir, but your knowledge is unlimited.
No. So I'm saying this business of execution is what? Every player is now being told how to play. So when you are told how to play and you've been hired or you've been bought in an auction, then you're only going to go and do that. Yeah. So when you tell somebody, okay, you don't get out, you play like this, then how does he worry about the run rate? When is he going to think about what the situation of the game is? How many overs somebody has to bowl? Should I attack now? Should I defend now? You are only told what to do, and you have to go out there and do it.
So this is what you're saying. You're saying that every team should be like how Delhi is. Delhi, not the team, but Delhi, the city, where nobody needs a license to do anything anyway. You just go and do what you want to do, right? Don't listen to nobody. There's no need for any license. Listen, all my friends, all driving without licenses.
listen. See, you think like that because you're still not a parent.
Oh, that's right.
So if you're a parent in Delhi, you just don't do anything you want to do. You think of your wife, you think of your children, the elder one and the younger one, you think of your mother, you think of your father, and then you plan the day. Because you can't ask your father to do what your child should be doing. You can't ask your child to do what your father should be doing.
That is true, which is what you're saying. Don't let people play their natural game, I guess. But was this the kind of, like, sometimes you have to change it because of the wicket as well. Maybe this was not the wicket that would permit the natural game of a lot of people, or conducive to the natural game of sort of free-flowing short hitters.
See, they have been practicing on this pitch for at least 15-20 days. Okay. So when they had this 175 in their head, which Shreyas Iyer obviously had up front, that's what he was talking about, 100, 175. They must have had some thought in mind. So whatever their plans were, they didn't work out the way they wanted to. But obviously, if they thought 175, the other thing they thought was, this is going to get worse. Clearly, it's going to get worse in their head. After batting is going to be even more difficult. So better to bat up front. I don't know whether they're right or wrong. We'll find out for ourselves. But the ball definitely wasn't coming on. It's safe to say it wasn't coming on, but it didn't noticeably deteriorate also.
But that's the difference. I mean, sorry, carry on.
No, compared to the game that we saw in Mumbai or in where else was a flat wicket in
Jaipur.
Calcutta, Jaipur. So compared to that, yes, it is not coming on, but it's not a wicket that was like in Chennai.
It's not Chennai.
So this is what I mean. There is no one way of playing. You got to go out there and look at the wicket that day, and depending on what if you get 2 runouts in the first 2 overs. Then what do you do?
Now I saw you.
So you got to be
all credit to
instinctive.
Ajay. All credit to Ajay. That when Shreyas at the toss said, oh, we're looking at 170, 180, Ajay made this face. He's going, hang on, you haven't even played a ball here. Like, how can you already decide that? And that's not a good sign. And honestly, if, as Joy is saying, if they were thinking that, oh, we played on this, or we played a practice game yesterday, and it's going to, again, you made a rookie mistake, Shreyas. This is Delhi. जो कल था वो आज नहीं होगा.
Ask any government.
That's right. What is yesterday will not be today, man, especially in Delhi.
But also, I love the eeny, meeny, miny, mo style of captaincy of Dhoni. Which bowler today, eeny, meeny, miny, you don't know who he'll pick, and that guy will come up and do magic. Just look at the way he's rotated.
And it's so difficult, right, Ajay? Like, how do you... So this is the problem. Delhi has shown their cards in terms of, they've shown you their plans, that one will stop, one will hit. On the other side, Dhoni is just licking his lips going, hang on, you've shown me your cards. You have no idea what my cards are because I've got so many bowling options. You don't know. This guy's got 2 left, this guy's got 1 left.
His own team doesn't know what his cards are. His own team doesn't know.
He plays them differently. I mean, if you could put that card back on there and have a look. Their premier bowlers, leave Tahir. I'll just go by Harbhajan Singh. Harbhajan Singh's had a great day last day. I think he's had a great day today because he bowled a couple overs at the top when the things were going really strong, and then he held him back because he knew there's a Rishabh Pant. That's the way Delhi is going to play. They're going to bring him in because they're not losing wickets. They bring him in and just go after it. So he had an over for him left. So the scoreboard might say, oh, he's had a bad day. He's not picked. He's given away 30 runs. Not the same as the last game. Tahir, he didn't even bowl him because then at the end, what was left? You had Tewatia and left-handed Akshar Patel, Indian batsman. So he got his main fast bowler back, got Thakur to bowl a couple of overs. So he plays looking at the situation and that particular over. And this is what I mean by the captain's team. Captain's team, I think, in this format is always 2 overs ahead of coach's team or the computer's team.
And I promise you, any other captain would have looked at that lineup and said, Shikhar Dhawan, Rishabh Pant, Colin Ingram, okay, Jadeja is not going to get a ball when he has so many resources. He goes and gives him 4, gets 23, takes a wicket as well. He uses them so beautifully and so instinctively. So, he's a master. It's a master class.
Would they, with this batting lineup, do you favor them to get 148? I guess the answer would be a resounding yes.
Yes, it has to be. You have no other choice with that batting lineup. Only if something goes wrong, he'll have to be Rabada. I know it's a slow wicket, it's a turning wicket. Everybody's looking at it and saying, oh, what can happen? Because, leave Shane Watson out. All the guys that you see, they're probably not the best players when the ball's really coming in.
But they'll handle the spin.
I'll include Raidu, Raina, even my great MS at this age. If the ball's, with that pace, he's the only one I see can make a dent in there. There will be spin, it might stop, but they'll manage that.
Exactly. I mean, Raina, Raidu, they all great. Dhoni, they're all great players of spin.
And actually, Delhi must have predicted this because they're playing 3 spinners today. They've got Tewatia, Aksar, and they've got Amit Mishra in dropping Trent Bolt. So they've brought in a spinner for a pacer. Let's have a look at their bowlers as well. Of course, they've got Khagis. I'm trying to say it like Harsha does. He's a Rabada. They've got him there. They've got Ishant Sharma, of course. And they've got Kimo Paul, who'll come in with his 120, 125s.
Yeah, he's all right, I think.